Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it as play. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. The menu is not the meal. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing, in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. I have realized that the past and future are real illusions, that they exist in the present, which is what there is and all there is. The more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless. Try to imagine what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Now try to imagine what it was like to wake up having never gone to sleep. Problems that remain persistently insoluble should always be suspected as questions asked in the wrong way. A scholar tries to learn something every day. A student of Buddhism tries to unlearn something daily. Never pretend to love which you do not actually feel, for love is not ours to command. One is a great deal less anxious if one feels perfectly free to be anxious, and the same may be said of guilt. If we cling to belief in God, we cannot likewise have faith, since faith is not clinging but letting go. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. But I'll tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything. The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. You're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. There is nothing at all that can be talked about adequately, and the whole art of poetry is to say what can't be said. Words can be communicative only between those who share similar experiences. I am what happens between the maternity ward and the crematorium. It's better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing, than a long life spent in a miserable way. Just as true humor is laughter at oneself, true humanity is knowledge of oneself. We do not come into this world, we come out of it, as leaves from a tree. But my dear man, reality is only a Rorschach inkblot, you know. If the universe is meaningless, so is the statement that it is so. If this world is a vicious trap, so is its accuser, and the pot is calling the kettle black. Technology is destructive only in the hands of people who do not realize that they are one and the same process as the universe. I find that the sensation of myself as an ego inside a bag of skin is really a hallucination. This state of affairs is known technically as the double bind. The source of all light is in the eye. Jesus was not the man he was as a result of making Jesus Christ his personal savior. You are that vast thing that you see far, far off with great telescopes. We know that from time to time, there arise among human beings People who seem to exude love as naturally as the sun gives out heat. People become concerned with being more humble than other people. I owe my solitude to other people. Normally, we do not so much look at things as overlook them. You didn't come into this world. You came out of it, like a wave from the ocean. You are not a stranger here. The morning glory which blooms for an hour differs not at heart from the giant pine, which lives for 1,000 years. For there is never anything but the present, and if one cannot live there, one cannot live anywhere. In looking out upon the world, we forget that the world is looking at itself. Our pleasures are not material pleasures, but symbols of pleasure, attractively packaged but inferior in content. It is hard indeed to notice anything for which the languages available to us have no description. Just as money is not real, consumable wealth, books are not life. To idolize scriptures is like eating paper currency. I have no other self than the totality of things of which I am aware. To travel is to be alive, but to get somewhere is to be dead, for as our own proverb says, to travel well is better than to arrive. Instant coffee, for example, is a well-deserved punishment for being in a hurry to reach the future. The religious idea of God cannot do full duty for the metaphysical infinity. Belief clings, but faith lets go. When you find out that there was never anything in the dark side to be afraid of, nothing is left but to love. Stay in the center, and you will be ready to move in any direction. Genuine love comes from knowledge, not from a sense of duty or guilt. Society is our extended mind and body. Do not let the rapidity with which these thoughts can change deceive you into feeling that you think them all at once. Human desire tends to be insatiable. The mystery of life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Only doubtful truths need defense. Playing a violin is, after all, only scraping a cat's entrails with horsehair. See you in the next videos.